Are you sexually frustrated? Is the romantic tension between you and your partner not what it once was? Not lasting as long as you used to in the bed? Can't get as full of an erection? Creatine does absolutely nothing for your Johnson. Creatine. Creatine. Stop fucking and go to the gym. Chicks dig dudes with big muscles and limp cocks. You know what, girls? You know what's great is a guy that's awesome in bed. You know what's even better? A dude with big muscles and a limp cock. Creatine. You can make your cock limp and your bedroom empty. Looking to never fuck again but have huge muscles and a limp dick? Creatine, try it out. Okay, that's enough of that. Creatine, let's get it on the peak, man. There's not many fucking people that can make it to the top of these peaks. You know, altitude sickness, just the general conditions. The frigid air up there, way up there on the peak. See it? Well, can't even maintain it. If I get a full peak flex here, there we go. Creatine, get it on top of your peaks. So no more shenanigans. I'm going to try to condense this down, cut to the chase, and give you guys my experience with creatine over many, many years. So first thing is I'll start with what creatine product I've been taking. This is Pura Vida Labs, 100% CreaPure creatine. You can get it on Amazon. That's where I've been buying it. It's $20 for this 410 gram tub. When I first started taking creatine about 10 years ago, the first time I hopped on, I did a lot of research trying to figure out what's the best kind of creatine, how should I do it, what should I do, blah, 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 all the questions you have. And it was my conclusion at that time that creatine monohydrate, 100% CreaPure, was supposedly the best kind of creatine. And that's what I've been taking ever since. So there's a little caveat there that it's been 10 years. Maybe if I spent time doing research now, there's a different kind of creatine. I know there's a bunch of different types, ethyl ester or something. And then there's other kinds of creatine monohydrate that are, so this is like a salt consistency, CreaPure, and a lot of creatines are like baking powder, and supposedly this CreaPure that is the consistency of salt is the best. And again, that's based off of my 10-year-old research. I did do a bunch of research at that time, but I have to give a disclaimer there because it's 10 years old and I haven't updated it, but this has been working for me, so I've just stuck with it. The recommendation is to take 2 to 5 grams a day, and they have a loading protocol. So do you need to load creatine is a lot of the question that people have. If you were to do it, what you're supposed to do for the first 5 to 7 days, you take 15 to 20 grams of creatine each day. 5 grams per dose. So you're taking 5 grams 3 or 4 times in a day for a total of 15 to 20 grams to load the creatine into your cells. Personally, I have done that and I have not done that, and I find not doing it worked better for me. I think I just ended up wasting creatine and like pissing it out. So part of the thing is when you take creatine, it takes time for it to be saturated or absorb into your cells and then take effect. So like the first couple days that you take it, you're not going to notice any difference. It's going to take like a week or more. And I guess the thought with loading is like it speeds that up. So you got to keep taking creatine, keep ingesting it for it to get absorbed into your cells and start taking effect and doing what it's meant to do. And loading will allow that to happen faster. Personally, having done both, I didn't really notice that much of a difference, and I feel like I was just like pissing out extra creatine and making my kidneys work harder. So I don't do that. I don't do the loading. More specifically on the protocol I've been following, I've been taking creatine for like 2 years straight. I've taken a couple weeks off, or I've taken like 5 days to a week off of training where I just like don't take creatine. I just take a break from training. But outside of that, I take it every day, and I take like 3 grams. So the recommendation is 2 to 5 grams. Obviously, that's kind of a wide range, depending on the size of your body. Everybody responds a little bit differently to the supplement. For me, I feel like I can get all the effects of it with 3 grams, and I don't want to take excess creatine that my body isn't actually using. So originally I was taking 5, and then I started taking 4, and then I started taking 3, and I didn't really notice any difference in the effects. So I'm kind of trying to pin down like how much how much of the creatine is my body actually using, and how much of it am I just like pissing out and it's just wasting, and it's being like making my kidneys do extra work. That was my thought process. So some of the effects that you can expect are, what it's going to do is pull more water into your muscle cells, and some kind of crazy science shit with ATP, which is energy, allow you to perform more reps. That's a very dumbed down. I'm not the person to explain that science interaction. I remember researching and reading and be like, okay, that kind of makes sense. There's going to be way better people on the internet who can explain that. So I'm just going to skip over that and tell you like on the surface level what to expect. Basically, if you can do like, let's say you're doing bench press and you got like 150 pounds for 10 reps is like the most you can do. 2 weeks later, you've been taking your creatine, it's fully saturated into your cells. Saturated, makes me sound smart. And at that point, you might be able to get 150 for like 11 or 12 reps. So I don't think it's necessarily going to improve like your 1 rep max, but in those like medium to higher rep ranges, which are the sweet spot for building muscle, it allows you to do more reps. So then in theory, you're doing more reps, you're doing more muscle damage, you're building more muscle. So that's the main reason, that the main like motivation to take creatine is, in theory, it's going to help you build muscle. And I would say that I support that. I think it will. Another thing that you're going to notice is, it's going to pull more water into your muscle cells, so your muscles are going to look a little bit fuller. One kind of like downside-ish is that it might make you look like a little bit like fluffier. I've kind of noticed, especially if your body fat isn't super low. You're not going to look as like tight and like ripped. You don't have that like hard, firm, ripped muscle. It'll be bigger because there's more water in there, but it looks like there's more water in there, and it's not as like dense and firm. That's something that maybe the average person wouldn't notice, but just being around fitness and for many years and paying attention to these things, it's something that I kind of pick up on. I can see it in myself at times, especially if my body fat percent, if I gain like a few pounds and I'm just like not quite as lean, my like muscles, my arms and stuff start to look just like a little bit fluffier than they would if I wasn't on creatine. The other thing I've noticed is it makes me a little bit more like explosive and athletic. Not that I do a ton of that kind of stuff, but I'll play like basketball sometimes and I feel more athletic. I feel like I can move faster and I'm more explosive. And there is accounts of a lot of professional athletes, like NFL players and stuff, supplementing with creatine. Supposedly it improves their performance. But this is mostly for a muscle building. Main reason I use it is for muscle building. So that's kind of what we're going to stay focused on. Let me think if there's anything else I would say about creatine. I feel like I hit on a lot of the main things and questions. Again, this is more of like this is my experience with it. If you're thinking about taking creatine, there's tons of good information out there on YouTube and Google. There's going to be people that are breaking down the science of exactly how it works and all that stuff. But I do feel like sometimes it's useful to have a firsthand account. So that's what I wanted to provide. I've been using creatine on and off for like 10 years and straight on for the past 2 years. I don't know that that's what you should do. I'm not recommending that. That's just what I've been doing. Some people say you should cycle off of it. I haven't noticed any negative side effects at all of creatine, acne, hair loss, any of these things I've seen people potentially commenting on. I've noticed no negative side effects over the years that I can attribute to creatine. What else? Yeah, I think it's worth it. Only if you're consistently going to the gym and you're super serious about training, because you have to take it every day. So I guess the last point I would make is there's no point in like taking it once or twice. You had a sick workout, you want to take some creatine after or some creatine before. It doesn't make any sense. It's not going to do anything for you. You have to take it for a couple weeks before it gets into your cells and starts to have effect and do what it's supposed to do. So if you're thinking about buying it, it's not a quick shortcut. It's not going to really do anything for you if you're not actually serious about training. It's a supplement. The most important thing is to train hard, eat good foods, and sleep. So take care of those things first before you consider taking something like this. But if you are doing all those things, it is a significant priority in your life to train. Supplementing creatine has been worth it for me. So that's what I'll say. Hope this video helped you on your fitness journey, and peace.